New international students at The Ohio State University, this story is for you. I hope my story can inspire you to develop the confidence, the courage to do something very, very brave that I had difficulty doing when I was a student studying in a new country, something that seems, but is not always, simple. That is, to talk. In the U.S., saying that someone is shy is not usually a compliment. We value outspokenness. We admire people who share their opinion freely. That can be hard for an introvert like myself. In high school, then in college, I dreaded any type of public speaking. The blood would drain from my face, and my voice would shake when I had to give a class presentation or the like. However, it was something I could force myself to do because I knew it was expected of me. But then I studied abroad. I spent my junior year in college at the University of Geneva in Switzerland, where I took all of my courses and lived my daily life in French rather than in English. Now, when you study abroad, you are thrown into a new environment. The most ordinary things are suddenly different and disorienting. In Geneva, the doorknobs and light switches looked different. The cinnamon I bought had a weird smell. And not only are things different, but you realize that you are different too. Different from the people around you, and maybe different from the version of yourself that you knew at home. If all I had had to contend with was a new flavor of cinnamon, I think I would have adapted fairly quickly. But I had a larger problem. My natural shyness turned into a sudden lack of confidence in speaking a language I thought I had known well. At home, I had been proud of my French language skills. But in Geneva, shopkeepers and fellow students would hear my accent and immediately switch to English, which was especially annoying because sometimes their English was far less grammatical than my French. Daily, I felt I had to battle the stereotype of the stupid American who doesn't know anything about the world outside the United States. One day, one of my teachers questioned my ability to understand her in front of the whole class, and I went home and cried in humiliation. In my first semester abroad, I spoke out loud in class exactly one time, and I hadn't even raised my hand. The professor in a literature class called on me because he saw from the look on my face that I knew the answer. I no longer remember the question, but I do remember the answer: Robinson Crusoe. So the only time I spoke aloud in a French lit class that first term was to give the name of an English novel, though French speakers say it a little differently: Robinson Crusoe. So needless to say, I had a slow start feeling confident enough to speak in class and had a hard time getting over the feeling that I was constantly being judged. But unexpectedly, after the Robinson Crusoe incident, I started to come out of my shell. The next semester, I even spoke whole sentences in class. I share these experiences of my early time abroad not because I would want you to follow my bad example, but so that you know that feeling scared of speaking in class or feeling frustrated about other people's assumptions about your language abilities, that's all normal. I have been able to grow into a much more confident person, and you will also grow and change during your time at Ohio State and beyond. So why do American professors put so much emphasis on speaking in class and give you points in your grade just for participating? It is not to plunge their students into fits of nervousness. It is in large part because every student brings a unique perspective. Your professors and fellow students need to hear your ideas because they are unique to you. Will you always have the right answer? Probably not, but that's okay. I hope that no matter how nervous you are, you will have your Robinson Crusoe moment when you are the only one in class who knows the answer, and sharing it is suddenly not so scary after all.